Log!
Commander, we found Trisha. She's in solitude, wandering around public with no sign of injury. We talked to her, get answers, and stop Matari. A map to a Dwemer ruin. Who gave this to you? We'll go together, but first we need to talk to Trisha.
I'm going with you.
That's fine. With the way things are going, you'd be safer with us than alone.
Yeah? But I do. We're all in this together. If this involves stopping Matari from ruining the Sirens, I feel obligated to help.
I want to talk to you about Serenity. You said she took the body of a woman, like a parasite taking control of its host. So when Serenity was killed by Zana, it was permanent. She had merged her soul with the body, and became whole. But Matari, if that is not her original body, then Matari has died many times before. And when this latest form dies, will that be the end for her, like it was for Serenity? Or does the cycle continue? There is nothing I see in Matari that tells me she thinks or feels the same way we do. She's completely empty. Somehow, Matari is able to do what Serenity can't. Take a body without committing her essence. If we were to kill her now, who knows what would happen? The answer might just be in the ruins.
Good to see
Trisha?
you. Finally, someone useful is around. True.
Trisha, please.
Come to finish the job, Lilith?
What?
They made the mistake of letting me walk away. If you're here to kill me, then get it over with already.
We're not here on behalf of the Sirens. Command never told us where you really were. We found you on our own.
Then why are you here?
We want you to speak out against Matari and the Maidens.
They'd kill me the second I walked back into the palace. It's all falling apart. You try to prepare for this sort of thing, but when it happens, you're never ready. Don't worry about me. Do what you can to save the others while there's still time.
But we need your help. The Maidens have taken your place, and Matari is planning something that goes beyond the Sirens. Trisha, this is no ordinary takeover.
Then what is it?
Matari is planning to destroy us all, and Purity wants to beat her to it. Serenity, her people couldn't care less what happens. They want us to figure things out on our own. Apparently, that's the only way to stop her. Everything that the commander has been told is nothing but a convoluted mess of information.
Seems like everyone is keeping secrets these days, stringing us along for enjoyment.
Which is why we need you. There is no time to figure out who else would be willing to turn against the Order. If all of us here work together, we can end the war, and Matari's reign.
Any ideas how the four of us could do that?
Serenity gave the commander a map to a Dwemer ruin that is linked to Matari in some way. We're going there to get answers.
Fine. I'm in. I wasn't ready for retirement anyway.
We'll travel together. Commander, Kasha, take your time. We'll meet you at the entrance.
What is it?
Look!
Yeah?
Peaceful place. I'm surprised that the bandits and Forsworn haven't taken up residence. I figured you'd ask. I already told Lilith the whole story, but go on. It was a little while after you left on your mission with Freya. I was in my dormitory, finalizing the plans for the attack on Pazarath. I should have remembered the maidens have keys to all of our rooms. Melody and a couple of the others barged through the door. They went through their typical routine of acting cute. I tried to tell them that the plan I made was our best chance at winning back Pazarath. But they kept on arguing. The next thing I knew, I was lying in a ditch just outside Riften with a bump on my head. They left a note in my pocket. Don't come back, you're not wanted. They know me too well. More than I thought. Almost the exact same thing happened when I was kicked out of the Legion. They just couldn't resist leaving a lasting impression. I guess for them, it's a lot funnier than death. I knew they would tell the others that I left the province. So I thought I might as well irk them by staying but as far away from the palace as possible. I always liked the city. Because of the war, it wasn't hard finding work. All I asked for as payment was a daily meal. Being a beggar for a few good years teaches you how to live on the bare minimum. Were? I still am. After we're finished dealing with Matari, I'm going back. Not anymore. Understood. Sold it the first chance I could. No sense in carrying that relic around if I wasn't going to use it. I also needed the gold to get to Solitude.
The Reach is known for its Dwemer ruins, but this place is different. The lack of a proper Dwemer name gives it away. This is no ordinary ruin, but I do feel safe having you here. We'll need your experience to get us through any traps. Let's take a closer look. The gate was recently torn down, but the blood is dry. There's a good chance that whoever came here is long gone. As soon as you're ready, lower the lift. A reception area. Security must have been top priority. Notice the alignment of the ballista on the ceiling. They were just as concerned about keeping their own people where they needed to be.
Found our mystery guest, Purity. And based on this note, the heroes as well.
What does it say?
Orders to guide Bosca and several of his comrades through these ruins happened right after the attack on Jonestead. The tone towards the heroes is pretty harsh.
More evidence of an uneasy alliance between the two.
It doesn't seem Purity cared about what was locked up in this place, even the location of Sky's Divide. They were just sick of hearing the heroes' complaints about being kept on a need-to-know basis, so Purity threw them something to chew on. Guess it wasn't enough. Take a look at it if you want. They also brought along a few books on the Dwemer.
Do you see a switch? We need to lower the gate.
Damn it. I should have known better.
One of us was bound to push it eventually. And it opened the gates.
There was a translation guide attached to the Purity Scholar's note. If I just... Got it. This dialect is archaic, all right. Even without years of studying other variations of Dwemeris, it shouldn't be too hard to translate.
It's that easy?
To be fair, my squad was often sent batches of confiscated Dwemer relics so they could be properly impounded. I got curious and picked up a little on the known vocabulary. Then in the Sirens, the encoding, decoding of all those messages...
The 0-1 system.
Invented by Matari herself.
What does it say?
Welcome to Installation 1621.
It all makes sense now.
Those things scare me even though they're not alive. I am. My training helps. They're just like real targets. Like people, I mean.
This is a research center. One with a number and not a name. It almost certainly means that it was kept a secret to the general population. There are theories about the nature of the experiments that Dwemer conducted. But little evidence remains after the passing of time and the deterioration of the strongholds. This place, on the other hand, is intact and relatively untouched. Everything we find here may be undocumented by modern historians. Exactly. Maybe more than enough. And too much. Trisha, Kasha, go on ahead. We'll be along shortly.
Sure.
We need to discuss something in private. Once Trisha starts translating whatever else we find, it wouldn't be appropriate to bring it up. Commander, what do you think of Matari? What do you think of her as a person? Is that what you think? Or is that what Serenity and Purity told you? The other sirens. Do you know what they do? They impose their ideas of what she is like onto her. To them, she's a living sculpture that can be molded. That's how she can be so easily idolized. Each siren has her own interpretation of the perfect Matari. We define her. I can't answer that. Not Serenity. Not Purity. They said we have to see things for ourselves. That's why we're here. But by being here alone without guidance, we're taking a great risk. As frivolous as it seems, purity in the Holy Matron's secrecy may actually have a purpose. Purity could have just as easily undermined our efforts to stop Matari in our own way by telling you everything. But what if the truth, in its rawest form, really is interpretive? Telling you one thing, or the other, may have yielded unpredictable results. It could have upset the balance in the war even further. It might have even provoked sympathy from you towards her. Look at where we are. A Dwemer research center. I don't need to tell you what it implies about Matari. There's a saying among the Ashen. The truth can either be what frees you, or destroys you. I'm worried that what we find here isn't going to be easy for anyone to take in. We may not suffer physically for what we learn, like we would from an Elder Scroll. But if the behavior of those you've spoken to is any indication, our minds might. Just promise me that you won't lose sight of who we're fighting. I don't want to lose you like I did with Misha.
The note said that the coordinates to Sky's Divide would be around the forge.
It's a big place. Kasha and I will take a look around to see what else we can find. Commander, remember what I said. I'll be fine. You should go help Trisha.
If it's none of my business, I won't ask. But you'll understand that I find it sort of annoying. So, what do you make of that? I've never seen an automaton constructed in anything other than the typical orange-yellow hued metal. A functional one at that. Give it some steam and you'll be able to get that thing up and running again. This gives us an idea of what we're dealing with down here. Experimental technology. Don't know whether I should be hoping that most of them were successes or failures. That can't be Ebony. The Dwemer would never sacrifice quality. Let's see what we have over here. I found it. Go get Lilith and Kasha. They need to see this. In the northern sea, between this land and the Nordic cradle of life, is the Dark Tower. It pierces the heavens, serving as a rightful monument and just prison for the Anomaly. Sky's Divide.
The coordinates place a divide, right in the middle of the Sea of Ghosts, south of Admora.
The tablet goes on to warn supply vessels about turbulent weather in the area. I say we find a seasoned captain in Solitude and set sail. We'd get there in just a few days if we ride the stream.
We're not going anywhere. The heroes of Nirn are already at Sky's Divide. We'd be walking into a trap.
So, what do we do now? At least we know where to go, but we're still not any closer to solving our problem.
We keep searching. These tablets were out in the open, but there could be more in the other rooms. I noticed a gated door in the far side of the chamber with 2 empty lexicon receptacles, possibly leading into the Overseer's quarters. Assuming the lexicons are still somewhere in the bastion, we can lower the gates. Trisha, there's a reason why Purity doesn't care about Sky's Divide, while Serenity and her people believe it's the key. We can't trust what anyone says on faith alone. Not anymore. Before we try to stop Matari, we need to be sure it's going to work.
No one is going into any of the other rooms alone.
We can go.
I'm not so sure.
I'll be fine. The 2 of us can work on translations. I'll bring some books from the reading area.
Focus on finding the lexicons so we can open the gate. But if you find anything that is still legible, bring it to me, and I'll get it translated. I thought there'd be automatons swarming the area. Isn't that how it normally is with these strongholds? I don't like it. Keep your guard up. There's plenty to talk about. I'll do the best I can with what we know so far. Phew. One of the tablets mentions the creation of the Void Sword right here in this forge. Besides that, I can't tell you what else the matrons took from this place. But if they had a war with Matari and lost it anyway, well, maybe it's a good thing they took the artifacts. Otherwise, we might have ended up using them ourselves. Serenity's sword. Baska's sword. It's had a long journey. The matrons took the sword from the Bastion, and it eventually ended up at Fort Pazarath. I wouldn't care too much about the sword, Commander. If it was used on Matari, it mustn't be as special as the Dwemer and matrons first thought. That's what I'm worried about. But let's trust the matrons on this one for now. They have more experience than any of us. Maybe more than Purity. Skies divide. A monument. And a prison. If this anomaly warranted the construction of an entire tower just to house it, do you think it's Matari? How much are you willing to bet it's made from the same material as the Void Sword and that Centurion? I have a hunch that the Dwemer were completely wrong about how to contain this anomaly. The Holy Matrons didn't figure that out until it was too late. The more texts you bring, the easier it'll be to piece things together.
Which room should we check out? No, it's nothing. I'm just not in a talkative mood. Everything feels so hopeless, don't you think? We're only a group of 4. How can we stop Matari, Purity, and the heroes? It should be obvious to me by now, but good idea. I can't help but get worried after remembering everything that Serenity said.